Jason Momoa has come out with a new Netflix film called Sweet Girl, where he stars alongside with Isabella Merced, who I think is a tremendous up-and-coming actress, and I've seen a ton of movies that she's been in so far that I've thoroughly enjoyed, including Insta Family and the Transformers films with Mark Wahlberg. She co-starred in those as well. And I think she's really making a name for herself, and I think she's definitely going to be a really tremendous actress moving forward. She's still super young. She's only 20 years old. And this film is just a real big step forward for her. And it's nice to see Jason Momoa in something again. You know, I haven't watched a film with him in it in a couple of years, I feel. So it's nice to see him back in the game. It's nice to see Isabella Merced get more roles and whatnot. So the thing with this film that I find interesting is that it's really new. It only came out about 2 days ago. It's already hit, like, I think the Netflix top 10. And I think when I checked last night, because I watched it last night, and I think when I checked, it's number 1, actually, after only being out for 2 days. So I don't know how skewed that is, but I do know that it's been receiving negative reviews, too, which is odd to me because I think it's a really good film. Like, I know that, like, there are some areas, like, that are, like, a big deal to some people. You know, like, a lot of people, they like Rotten Tomatoes, and they take that to heart, as well as IMDb ratings or Metacritic. And I know it's not doing the best in those areas, but then it's also doing really good in, like, basic users. Like, if the quote-unquote professional level people are giving it poor reviews, and those are the ones getting it like 18% on Rotten Tomatoes, most of its audience responses are like in the 84 percentile. So it's, people like this film. I like this film. I thought this was a great film. I don't get why it's getting like maybe review bombed or something. I don't know what it is, but it's upsetting because this is a very enjoyable film. I think it tells, you know, a story that people can somewhat relate to, you know. Maybe they have some areas where it might be a little, you know, far-fetched, and if it was, like, stuck in reality. And in the reality it tries to set up, you know, like if it's talking about, you know, corrupt politicians, big pharma, you know, these are things that have been topics of conversation for a great many years, you know, especially being a voting adult now. I view, you know, this film as coming from an area where a lot of people can relate to, and a lot of people can see that, like, oh, this is like, this could be like an imagination in somebody's head, like what they would really want to do. Like how many people in the shoes of the character played by Jason Momoa would really go out of their way and say, like, yes, like, I'm going to bring corrupt politicians down. You know, like, again, it's a movie, so it's meant to be set in a certain realm of fiction while still relating somewhat to concepts that we can relate to as people. So for me, I really enjoyed this from start to finish. And it's got a fantastic twist in it that I was not expecting. You know, there was one thing going through the film where I was like, oh, you know what, I'm super happy that they're not making him be or seem unstoppable. You know, like, Jason Momoa is a huge dude. He commands a huge presence. You know, he's like 6'5". You know, he weighs 250 pounds of solid muscle. He's a big dude. He's very intimidating. But like when he's going up against these like well-trained like bodyguards and stuff, they don't make him look unstoppable. Like, they show some scenes where he's training to like be a fighter, you know, like he's punching a bag, and he's you know, like training like his daughter and whatnot, and his daughter is played by Isabella Merced. And you know, he can fight, but he's not like unstoppable as you would expect from a film like this. They make that kind of reality set in stone at the very beginning, and I appreciated that a lot. So when it comes to its twist, I don't want to really give that away because it's still very new and I still want people to give it a chance. But just know that it is not going to be something you're going to be expecting. I was not expecting it. I thought it was a tremendously good twist. I was really blown away by how off guard it caught me. And maybe some other people kind of saw it coming. I don't know. I didn't see it coming. And again, I don't want to get too far into it. I'm just going to leave you with that little bit of a thing where it's like, I want you to question what could possibly happen. So Really quick, the synopsis is, you know, you have Jason Momoa and Isabella Merced. They play this family, and the mother dies of cancer. There was a specialty drug that could have helped her, but unfortunately, there was some bribes made behind the scenes, and some pharmaceutical companies, you know, they took some, payoffs to hold off the drug and not put it out to the market, where it would have been super cheap for everybody to get a hold of it and save a lot of lives. And then the mother unfortunately dies, and Jason Momoa goes crazy trying to be like, listen, there's something here. And then he meets up with a journalist who's like, I have information. And that journalist gets like assassinated right in front of him. And that leads him down this path of really trying to solve the case. They do like 2 time jumps so that the daughter can get aged appropriately. So it goes from like her being like 12 years old to her being 15 to her being 16 to her being 18. So it's trying to like show her as, because the thing is, Isabella Merced is 20 years old, and she doesn't look it. She looks like a 17-year-old. And even when she was in like Insta Family, which only came out 3 or 4 years ago, she's meant to play a 15-year-old, and she played a 15-year-old well when she actually was like 16 at the time, most likely. So, or even like if you say the process of like her actually filming, she does actually fit her age, being that she did look like a 15-year-old. But she still has this very young and innocent look to her. And then seeing her do some of the action in the film is kind of, it's nice. It's nice to see them bringing up an actress like this and her willing to kind of like grow into maybe a star that could eventually be more, like show her as like this like action star in a way. You know, I really appreciate what Isabella Merced brings to the table. I think this is another film that just highlights her acting capabilities, and I hope she gets more moving forward, especially after this. And I hope as this film is out for more weeks and gets more views and more reviews, that this review bombing just kind of is in its past. And because it's just a really good film, and it's worth sitting through, and it's worth really good reviews. And I feel like anybody who is giving it kind of a negative review isn't appreciating how it's progressing its story and how it chooses to take the liberties in the story to get what they want across, to express that this film, you know, took the liberties with this story to actually like do justice to what it could have done, because it could have gave you a cliche ending. But it doesn't. And that's what I appreciate about it the most, was those liberties with things worthwhile to me. And if you're a person that's willing to give it a shot, I guarantee you it's going to be worthwhile to you as well. But that's my opinion. I say go and watch it. It's only 2 days old. It just released. It's really, really good, and I highly recommend it to any of my listeners who haven't seen it yet. Please go watch it and understand that sometimes poor reviews doesn't mean poor movie. It just means people with poor perspectives on the film. Watch it, give it your perspective, and view it through your eyes. That's the only way you're going to know if it's a good or bad movie.